fell into a mindset of thinking that in order to keep losing weight or to keep the weight off, I just had to continuously keep dropping my calories lower and lower. When I first came to you, I was eating anywhere between like 1,000 to 1,200 calories every day. This kind of turned into like a feeling of just being constantly hungry. And then I also developed this fear of food. So even though I was so hungry all the time, I just would not allow myself to eat because I felt that if I was full, it would lead to weight gain. I was so focused on calories and my weight and the number on the scale, especially. And then this eventually, when it led to the binge restrict cycle, I would restrict and then be so hungry, and that would carry on for a couple of days before my body was just begging for more food. And I would give it a little bit more and then it would just turn into a binge. I was so hungry, I just wanted to eat everything that was there. I would go to bed and then wake up the next morning feeling really guilty about what I'd done the day before. So I'd restrict again, and then it would just turn into that vicious cycle. It started to impact me really mentally because that's when I was dealing with like guilt and fear of my foods. It just really destroyed my self-esteem because I had really bad body dysmorphia. So even though at this point I was actually, for my height, I was technically classed underweight at this point, but I still saw myself as just really big when I looked in the mirror. So I still saw myself as needing to lose more weight. Even though I'd reached the weight goal that I'd set myself like a year before, I still felt like I wasn't skinny enough. I think I made that mistake of thinking that if I lost weight, I would magically gain loads of confidence, and it just didn't do that. And when I realized that I had reached my goal weight or the size, dress size I wanted to be, and I hadn't actually got this sudden burst of confidence and I actually felt worse about myself, that's when I came to see you.
And so you'd kind of been on this huge journey and got to that point where you just felt helpless and didn't know kind of what to do. And I think you were at uni at this time. Were you just going to?
Yeah. When I first started uni. I think that's what upset me the most, is because I had just started uni and I've always been a very outgoing person. But when I first joined uni, I started developing these issues within the first term, like of low self-esteem and eating and everything. And I was just really frustrated because I was in an environment where I wanted to make new friends and to meet new people because I love doing that. But I was being held back by all of my fear of food and everything. Like at university, there's always an event like every day, an opportunity to meet new people. One or two things would happen, which is I would either back out at the last minute because I would be too worried about what I would eat at that event, or I would have binged throughout the day and I would have felt really guilty by the time the evening had rolled around and I would have needed to go out with my friends. I would have just like said, oh no, sorry, I don't feel well, I can't come anymore. And then I ended up feeling really lonely, actually.
How did the coaching program and working with me start to change things?
What I really liked about it is that it was so focused on me. It wasn't generic. The focus was never placed on anything to do with weight gain or weight loss or anything like that. It was focused on just creating a better relationship with food. It was more about like, okay, your relationship with food is not very stable right now. So let's work on educating you about different things. And then you'll see how what you're doing before wasn't very beneficial. Having that education made me realize a lot more why it's better to have balanced meals and not focus on the calorie content of it. I started to think about nourishing my body as opposed to just trying to eat as little as possible. And I think having that knowledge is what helped me the most.
With regards to feeling better about the way that you look and some of the other things that you came in with on the emotional side, how did coaching kind of support you to change that side of things?
The coaching never focused on anything physical, if that makes sense. Like it was always changing your mindset about things. It was never about trying to alter my diet so I could finally get the body that I wanted. It was more about learning to love myself. I shifted my focus from seeing food and exercise as a purely aesthetic purpose to doing it more for well-being, mental well-being, for my health, for feeling good. In that way, the program really transformed my mental health, because I stopped focusing so much on how I looked and how other people looked at me and what other people thought about me, and I started just caring about what I thought about myself and trying to repair that.
It was lovely to see you go through that change as well, because where you were to where you are now, it's just that complete transformation you spoke about. You've tackled body acceptance. You've got to the point where you're gaining body confidence, not just acceptance but confidence. The binge eating stopped. There's just so much within you. There's that inner strength that's come through. So it has been lovely working with you as well. I would love to ask, why would you recommend this approach to someone who might be suffering with their relationship with food and body image?
I think because this approach and your program is so personal. I think that's what's always impacted me most, is that everything that we did together was completely tailored towards me. It wasn't a one-size-fits-all kind of approach. So I would say that anyone who's suffering with eating issues, this program is really good, because also you don't feel really alone. I went into it feeling really self-critical, thinking I was really weak for going down this path. But then I learned that doesn't determine my weakness or my strength or anything like that. And I actually found a strength in myself in doing the program, because I was able to come out of that really low place I was before.
And lastly, what is one thing that you'll take from this experience with you for life?
That food is energy, not the enemy. And food has always been an opportunity to bond with others and not to be afraid of it, but rather to embrace it.
That's so powerful, and I know that that's going to reach so many people. So thank you so much for taking the time today. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we kind of finish?
I think just that if you're going through this, it's okay to ask for help, because I was going through this for a while and I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want anyone to help me, because I thought it's fine, I can do it myself, there's nothing wrong with me. And I thought that asking for help made me feel really weak, but it doesn't make you weak. If anything, it makes you really strong for being able to recognize that you have something you're struggling with and you're actually a very big person for being able to reach out to someone. So never be afraid to ask for help, because everyone needs it.